Okay, so today we're diving straight into Proverbs, chapter 29.
Yeah, a really rich chapter.
Our goal, really, is to pull out those core ideas on things like leadership, justice, wisdom, and just the consequences of, well, how people act.
And it's amazing how relevant these ancient observations still feel, you know? They really land.
Absolutely. So this chapter, it sets up a really clear contrast from the get-go, doesn't it?
It totally does. It's like, here are two paths, two kinds of outcomes, especially showing how character impacts, well, everything. Personal life, the whole community.
Right, it feels very practical. Less theory, more cause and effect.
Exactly, like the warning right near the start, someone who keeps getting corrected but just digs their heels in.
Yeah.
Headed for disaster, sudden destruction, it says, no fixing it after that point, shows there's a real cost to ignoring wisdom.
And it connects that individual stubbornness almost immediately to the bigger picture, like society.
Straight away, verse 2, right? When the righteous rule, people are happy. When the wicked are in charge, people groan.
That link between a leader's character and just the general mood, the well-being of everyone else, it's
Yeah.
so direct.
It really makes you think about what kind of leadership fosters, a thriving society versus one that's just miserable.
And justice is tied right into that. Stability comes from a leader focused on justice.
But if they're chasing bribes, it says it tears the country apart.
Yeah. And the difference in perspective it highlights. The righteous actually care about justice for the poor.
Whereas the wicked, it says they just don't understand it, or maybe don't want to.
It suggests that integrity, or the lack of it at the top, really trickles down,
Yeah.
especially hitting the vulnerable.
Definitely. It even says, a king who judges the poor fairly. His throne, his position becomes secure.
But the opposite is true too, right? A ruler listening to lies.
Corrupts the whole administration. All the officials end up wicked. It's like a contagion from the top down.
Wow. Okay, moving from the sort of big picture back to maybe the more personal, though still connected. Wisdom isn't just abstract.
No, it says it brings joy to your family, makes your parents happy,
But folly, hang out with the wrong crowd.
can waste everything you have. And dealing with a fool, it paints it as just exhausting. They rage, they scoff, you can't find peace.
That leads into self-control, especially with anger.
Huge emphasis on that. The wise person holds back, keeps their temper. The fool just lets it all out immediately.
And that venting, that lack of control, just stirs up more conflict, increases sin. It's destructive.
Yeah, on multiple levels. It creates external problems and, probably internal ones too.
There's also that contrast in attitudes. Pride brings you down eventually.
Right. It
Yeah.
seems like the path up, but it's actually the path down.
While humility, having a lowly spirit, that's what leads to honor. It's kind of paradoxical.
It is. And watch out for flattery too. It calls it spreading a net for someone's feet.
A trap disguised as praise. Oof.
And think about the internal state. The wicked person gets trapped by their own sin. Their actions become their cage.
While the righteous, they can sing and be glad. Their inner state reflects their outer life.
It suggests a kind of inner freedom that comes from living rightly.
The chapter also touches on guidance, the rod of correction, bringing wisdom, discipline, bringing peace to parents.
And that really powerful line about vision where there's no revelation, no clear direction, people cast off restraint, they perish essentially.
We need those guiding principles, which I guess brings us to maybe the most potent verse in the chapter, verse 25.
Ah, yes. Fear of man will prove to be a snare.
But whoever trusts in the Lord is kept safe. That just crystallizes so much, doesn't it?
It really does. Worrying constantly about what others think, seeking their approval, avoiding their anger, it's a trap. It limits you, makes you vulnerable.
But trusting in something higher, something beyond human opinion or power, it's presented as the path to real security.
And it connects to the idea that, yeah, you can try to get favors from rulers, but ultimate justice comes from that higher source.
It pulls that whole contrast together again. The righteous and the wicked are fundamentally incompatible. They can't stand each other because their core values are opposed.
Exactly. Their natures are just different.
So this deep dive into Proverbs 29, it really leaves you with a lot. That central theme, the contrast between the righteous path and the foolish or wicked path, and their totally different outcomes. It's everywhere in the chapter.
It really hammers home that choices matter. Profoundly. Not just for you, but for your family, your community, even the stability of a nation.
Okay, so here's a final thought for you, the listener, to maybe chew on. Given these ancient but, wow, still relevant insights on human nature and leadership, and thinking specifically about that line, the fear of man being a snare versus trusting in a higher power, How does understanding that tension maybe shift how you view influence and real security in the world today?